That's really awkward. That's great.
There we go. I unmuted the wrong thing. Hey, it wouldn't be
Yes.
it wouldn't be Markthius being involved with something if we didn't have a technical error. That's anyone in here that knows me knows that. Welcome everybody to the Aretuza show, also known as GwenTalk. My name is Markthius. I will be your host for today, and I am joined alongside Dutchboy. How are you doing today, man? We had a great time yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, let's do that again today.
We should do it again. How about right now?
Yeah, sounds good, man.
Welcome on in, everybody. Thank you for joining us here. We have two great guests joining us today. We have fresh from all of her newfound fame, Ash, and also joining us, the pro player himself, GameKing. Two people that you are going to see at Challenger in very different roles, but they will be there. So we are going to hang out with them today. Let's go ahead and get things started. We are going to hop on over. We have a new intro, Dutchboy. Are you ready to see this new fancy intro? All right, let's hop on over and we can get started talking to Ash. All right, yeah, look at that.
Looks awesome.
Right? That was a nice little
awesome.
added touch.
Yeah, looks great.
The queen herself is here. All this new fame that she has. Ash is joining us. How are you today?
No. I'm good, man. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. So, big news. Obviously, I think the cat's out of the bag. In case nobody didn't already know, you're going to be hosting alongside Flake at Challenger. How excited are you for that?
Man, I don't think I'll actually believe that it's happening until I'm finally there. Because honestly, obviously the Challenger is Skellige. It wouldn't have ever been a better moment to get in. I'm so excited. Just everything, even the location. It's a dream, man. Honestly, it's a dream.
Yeah, they picked the perfect person for Skellige, right? Who else would you pick for that? The right person for the right type.
Yeah, I'm really happy about it, for sure.
And now I definitely want some Skellige cosplay at least.
I will try. If they, I don't know what I'm allowed to wear. I know they have an entire styling team, but if there is a cosplay option I can choose from, then you bet I will. I will do it.
That would be really cool if they let that.
So.
If they actually let the host cosplay, that's something that I don't think they've ever done before. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I'd be here for it.
Now, for anyone that doesn't know, I don't know. Did they say the location? I think they did, right? They said the location for where Challenger is going to be? Are we allowed to say?
Sure. I mean, they show this video, right? On YouTube of someone walking towards it. I don't know if they announced the actual location, but I know someone on Reddit and in the comments they figured out where it actually is.
Okay,
so I'm not sure if I can say it, but you can find out for sure.
We'll keep that between us. We'll keep that quiet. So, but I'm sure it looks really, really cool. I know they're looking for a place for monsters now, and I'm interested to see where they go with that one. It's always interesting to see what they pick, right? So you had the salt mine with the last one. You have something interesting for this new one. So it should be really cool. I'm looking forward to seeing the stage and all that. But Ash, I know we're not just here to talk about your Challenger fame. We want to get to know you a little bit more. There's definitely some questions that I'm sure people have. First of all, Gwent, you got your fame from Gwent, obviously, but I think everyone would like to know a little bit of your origin story a bit. Did you start with Gwent when you came to streaming, or what did you actually start with?
But I actually started with Gwent or streaming or both.
Or both. I mean, if it's both,
yeah.
All right. So I'll start with streaming first because that was, I think, before I ever started with Gwent. Most people from my channel, they know that I actually started streaming as a way to deal with some mental health issues, to have something I can put my soul into and be very passionate about and give it my all. So that's how I started streaming. But back then, I didn't really know too much about Gwent because I believe it still wasn't really close beta, to say so. So I started with some, what was it, GTA 5 and all that stuff. Just not really a game I was really focused on. Also, my streams were very irregular. It was maybe sometimes 2 times a week, sometimes 10 times a week, all of that. And then I figured out there was an entire Gwent community on Twitch too. I mean, obviously. And my sister, coming to how I started with Gwent, my sister, she is a huge fan of The Witcher, and she was actually yo, Ash, I see you're playing Hearthstone all the time. Like, why don't you give, this Gwent a shot? Which is
Why didn't you
in
try a good game?
yeah, why didn't you try a good game? No, like, well, it was like in the Witcher universe and all of that. So it's like, sure, I'll give it a shot, and I really, really liked it. So that's how I'm here. It wasn't a closed beta X-Men nightmare, and that's where my love for Skellige actually came from too. So yeah, I think I'm still a bit traumatized by that.
Had you done any other card games before that, like Hearthstone or Magic or anything like that?
Yeah, just Hearthstone, but it was always like very casual. Like I was one of the people that just like played mobile, just whenever I was somewhere like at school or whatever I would just like fire up Hearthstone on my phone and play a bit on there. So it was never really like getting that into it. Like I never got Legend or anything. So Gwent's actually one of the first card games I'm really getting into.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's actually a common theme I found a lot of Gwent streamers and personalities. They either came from Hearthstone or they just Gwent was their first thing. They fell in love with it and they don't want to play anything else. So it's really really cool that it worked out that way. So GTA, huh? GTA streams. My goodness, Ash the GTA player.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just fun, and it was actually one of the streams that got me like so many viewers, even when I didn't do it without, even when I did without Gam. So I was like, what's going on here? But yeah, so GTA was a part of the journey for sure.
And now you do this full time, right? You stream full time?
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like this year I'm gonna give it my all. Like obviously I'm not yet to the point where I could, get myself an apartment and like live off it. But that's the goal. That's the ultimate goal. So I'm giving it my all. Oh, obviously, hopefully Homecoming will be great. So then I can stay in Gwent, because else I'm not sure where the future of Gwent is going to go, obviously.
Sure, a great segue, because we were going to talk about Homecoming anyway. So, future of Gwent, we've had some new Gwent leaks. I'm sure you've seen some of them. There were a couple new leaks this past week from Berza. Now, nothing really affects Skellige, which is good for you. So, but what is your honest opinion of what you've seen so far with these changes, and maybe what's something that you would like to see announced for Homecoming?
I mean, the changes so far, like I don't want to be like too opinionated about it. I know a lot of people like have share their fair share of, two rows, it will be too different and all of that stuff. I can only like judge when I actually play it. I think I personally trust CDPR. I wouldn't mind if it doesn't feel like the exact same Gwent anymore, but if it's just like a good game with still in the Witcher universe, like I'm still gonna stick around for it. I think it'll be great. Honestly, I have a lot of trust in them, and they know what they're gonna do. Like they cannot screw up one more time, So I think it will be. I think they've learned their lesson, and it will be great.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, I think that's a really good mentality. I think too many people or too many players have opinions without actually trying what they're thinking or what the new things are. Everyone's like hating the two cards already, hating the two rows, and they don't even know how the exact game is going to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the two card thing, which there was a lot of hate on that specifically, the two bronze, the two rows, but we don't know the card changes either, right? We don't know the descriptions of the cards. Obviously all the cards have to change because of that factor, but the only thing we kind of do know is they did say that playing something on a specific row changes how the card functions, which is kind of an interesting tool. Maybe what's something that you would like to see happen with Skellige, being that's your main faction and everything. What's something that like has frustrated you lately that you say, what, this needs to change for Homecoming?
Well, yeah, obviously we all want Peace Guard back. I think obviously they gotta change something about Corsairs, like great swords. But then again, like we do not know, especially with like two of each in like new decks, we don't know what's gonna happen. But for sure, some tweaks to great swords. I hope that won't stay the same. I just hope they bring Discard Skellige back. It was one of my favorite archetypes. I hope they do more with like actual graveyard, because that's been really like toned down a bit. I feel like I want that back. That would be great. Yeah. And I think they'll get there. More do I want? Just overall, I mean, Queensguard would be great, right? But we don't know. Like, how would Queensguard function with two bronzes?
It'd be way different. So
yeah, exactly. It would be great though, but I guess we'll see.
Is there anything that you've seen in the announcements that, I know you said you're excited about it, you trust CDPR's judgment, and everything, but is there anything that you have seen that you went, I don't know about that one?
I don't really. I mean, it's like I still have my questions because there's like little to nothing known about how the new deck building is actually gonna go. Because they're talking about like having a salary. Like I was talking about that with McBeer too. Like they want to have like a salary, right? So you can have, if you have 1 gold, you could have like 8 silvers or something like that. I would like to know more about that. But once again, like I do not know that much, so I cannot say anything about it. But
Yeah,
I hope that doesn't give any complications to certain archetypes.
Provision system, I think, right? That's what's called provisions. Yeah, it definitely is weird. I wasn't quite sure what it meant when they first were talking about that, but I mean, obviously, there's going to be big changes to cards like Siri, Nova, and Shoop. I think they're thinking about breaking up and all that, so because obviously Siri Nova can't work the same anymore. So,
who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
That would be hilarious, actually, if they forget to change Siri Nova.
Yeah.
Right, and that's in every deck.
Nova. Maybe Nova is the new Shoop, like one of each. You got a Nova.
I was thinking that too. That would make a lot of sense. Yeah. So I think this is probably one of this challenger is very close to getting close to that homecoming time if it sticks to this timeline. So we could be looking at the rest of the Gwent Pro season kind of taking place after the homecoming, which would be really, really interesting. What are you looking forward to, I guess, in terms of your stream alone? Homecoming, I'm sure you're going to play the hell out of that when it comes out. But are you like looking into branching into other things? You have Artifact coming. I'm not sure if you're interested in Magic at all, but that's starting to gain some traction. Are you sticking to Gwent 100%, or are you looking to kind of like branch out a little bit?
Well, I'll never like have a solid game plan. Like obviously Gwent is where my heart is, because like if you haven't left in this drought, you're probably there to stay, right? Unless something completely gets screwed over and you don't know anymore, and it's just even worse than that it now is. Then that's when I'll actually leave. I don't think that'll be the case though. I'll always be open to like branching out. I'm for sure interested in like seeing what artifacts will bring, because a lot of people are excited for it, so am I. But I think for now and what the future like holds, my heart will still be with Gwent, pretty sure. But branching out is always an option for me.
Cool, yeah, good answer. Dutchboy, what do you got? Anything else for Asher before we move on to our next guest?
It's the highest rank I've actually been in Hearthstone.
Been in Hearthstone?
I've been there. I've climbed the game way too much. I want to know.
Yeah, I mean, you was like you were a Hearthstone player back before you went to Gwent, right? So I think my highest rank was 3 or 2, but it was like very casual. So
it's for casual. That's pretty good.
Oh, thank you. It was the you will hate me for this, but what's it called? The Jade Druids. So please no flame.
Oh, jeez, Jade Druid. Oh my god.
No flame, please.
You were saying I was hate you for that, and I was expecting Undertaker, Hunter.
No.
Awful.
even though I used Face Hunter too, but no, it was like Jade Druid was one of my favorite. Maybe that's where the passion for veterans comes from. Who knows?
Yeah, there are some similarities.
Yeah, exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Hearthstone, our next guest is actually it came from Hearthstone to Gwent, so we'll get some good insight there. But right before I go, I have one last question for Ash. If they were to tell you in Homecoming, no more Skellige, what would be your chosen faction from that point?
Oh man, why are you doing this to me? Damn, that's difficult.
It's like losing a loved one.
Yeah, that's like losing like 75% of my soul. I would say, damn it. I mean, at the moment, I really enjoy playing some Nilfgaard decks. So I would probably say Nilf, but
you
difficult.
You gained some respect with the Hearthstone answer, and now you all lost it again.
Nilfgaard.
I'm sorry.
Damn it, man. I'll redeem myself.
All right, we're going to go take a look at a quick Game Cricket video, and we'll be back with GameKing, and then we will return with Ash later on for the nice big group discussion. So Ash, thank you for being here with us. We will come back to you in just a little bit.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to our card spotlight, where we look at the lore, background and mechanics of interesting cards that don't see a lot of play. Also, beware, spoilers for the Witcher games ahead. The protagonist of today's story is a Witcher locked up in an Nilfgaardian dungeon for helping the famous sorceress Yennefer of Vengerberg to stay out of sight. However, as he's locked up in the dungeon, we already know that it didn't go so well, because Yennefer at that time had lost her memory, and that paired with her temper was not easy to conceal in a kingdom which had strict rules about the usage of magic. The Witcher I'm talking about is Lefa of Gullid, who became famous in Witcher 2 thanks to the deal the Emperor of Nilfgaard provided him. Sow chaos in the north and be a free man yet again. And so chaos he did, by murdering 2 kings of the Northern Kingdom, allying with the Scoia'tael under the command of Fiorveth, and by influencing the events that happened afterwards. Depending on your choices in The Witcher 2, Lefa will meet a very different fate, and he may even reappear in The Witcher 3. In Gwent, he's a spying unit who will lock 2 enemies on the same row and then drain all the power, which will kill them and make Lefa a big badass boosted unit. Without any additional interaction, he's not very useful, but there are quite some cards that can really turn the game together with him. The most played Lefa combo is with Reaches, who is able to drain all the boosts of an enemy unit. Hitting an 11 and a 16 point card with Lefa therefore is worth 45 points, making each card worth 27 points, which is pretty decent for gold. If you manage to drain bigger cards, even better. But there are other cards who benefit from Lefa. Playing Scourge after Lefa will make both cards still worth around 14 points, and if we use Mana Horn on him, then we're talking 18 points per card already, in addition to removing 2 cards from the enemy side of the board. There are even more cards who can utilize his mechanic, and I'm really curious what you can come up with, so share your results in the Team Aretuza Discord channel. And now back to the show.
All right, welcome back, guys. Thank you so much, Green Cricket, for that wonderful video. He, of course, is at Gamescom with Aparo. We wish you well. Thank you for giving us the Dutchboy and I the keys to the show. We're trying not to crash it. We are here with GameKing and his pet friend Kappa behind him. GameKing, how are you doing today, man?
Yeah, thanks. I'm doing good.
You are also joining Ash at Challenger, of course, in a completely different role. You will be competing this time, hopefully winning. And how you feeling about that? How you feeling confident going into this Challenger?
Yeah, like last time I was pretty like disappointed. I lost 0-3 to Life Coach in the first round, and I also like got back home with like 0 dollarinos.
Yeah,
this time they changed it, and this time like I'm even more confident, and also like put more time in practicing. And I mean, like last time I also like accidentally revealed some of my decks to Life Coach before the first round. Like in the first round, the decks are hidden, right? And after that, they are revealed. And because of that, like I also like he knew playing against from the beginning. It was like a misplay on my side before the series even started. But this time, I want to make the mistake and hopefully win it.
Hopefully, yes. That's the ultimate goal. Yeah, is that do you find that actually to be like a pretty hard thing in tournaments? Because like you just said, like when the deck gets revealed like that, especially if you lost with a particular deck and then you have to play it again, is that something that like is a little concerning? It's like, oh, they're gonna know they know my hand now, especially if you were using some sort of trick.
I mean, you also know their deck unless they won with it because of Conquest, then they don't have to win with it again, right? So, but I think it doesn't really matter. I think, in my opinion, the deck should even be open in the first round because it would just be better. Because in other games, before you talked about Hearthstone, right?
Yeah.
I think in Hearthstone it's like open deck lists forever, right? From beginning of the tournament.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of curious because you mentioned Conquest. Do you think that Conquest is actually the best for Gwent right now?
No. I think, like, personally, I'm not a fan of Conquest because, like, targeting in Conquest is a thing that I don't like. And if you like, you can't also try some spicy. Like it basically removes spicy decks from the tournaments, because if you have like one spicy deck that turns out to be not that great, then you lose the best of 5 because you can't win with it. But if the spicy deck is played like in last hero standing, then then you can just like maybe 3-0 someone with their one deck, and then it maybe doesn't matter.
Then you get, and
I'm personally a fan of last hero standing is better in my opinion.
I can see that. It's cool.
So you did mention, because we were mentioning Hearthstone earlier, you know, your background does come from there. How did you make that switch from, you know, we know like some of the stories from like life coach, people like that, how they made that switch over to Gwent and why, but I'm just curious your whole thing between Hearthstone and Gwent.
Yeah, just Gwent like came into the open beta where you didn't need a key right to enter, and then I just tried it out, and for like 2 months or so I played like both games at the same time on like I have like 3 screens. I played like 2 screens, Hearthstone and Gwent at the same time.
Jeez.
But then I qualified for the first tournaments, and then I decided to focus on a game that I'm better at the moment. It was Gwent, so yeah. Then I just played a lot of Gwent, and until now I stick to Gwent, and it was great, yeah, and it will be great in the future.
Yeah. Do you still play Hearthstone, or you're 100% Gwent?
I play Hearthstone some casually for fun, or if some friend asks me to play some round with him, then but only casually, not competitive.
Yeah. Now you did take a little bit of a break from Gwent for a little bit there. Was there a specific reason for that?
I didn't really take a break. Like I played a bit less games. I played like instead of 1,200 games a month, 2 months, each 2 months, I played like 700, and I didn't finish like rank top 8 in the ladder, but I finished like rank 30. So I wasn't really gone, but I was maybe
a little bit.
I was maybe playing a bit less. I don't know why, because basically maybe it was a bit stale back then, and then I waited for the updates and so on.
And then you waited.
Don't really know why I played less.
And then you waited.
Yeah. Yeah, then I waited, and then I waited again.
Yeah, and you just get back and won the fucking qualifier.
Well, we have Homecoming coming up, so I'm going to ask you kind of the same thing I asked Ash there. So I'm just curious your thoughts on what you've seen so far, maybe something you'd like to see happen for Homecoming. What has you excited about it?
In my opinion, the most important thing for Homecoming is the coin flip fix, a proper coin flip fix, because because nowadays the coin flip really decides a lot of games, because the player that has, I mean, it's obviously known to all the players, the player that has red coin can play all the crap, and the player that has blue coin can keep the good stuff. And also, I would like to see them to delete the spies. Udalrik, Heim, Skjal, not Skjal, Cantarella and Teller, right?
Right now.
Because in my opinion, it doesn't make sense. Like nowadays, it's basically I spy you spy back. If you can't spy back because you are unlucky and don't draw the spy, then you lose the game sometimes. And if both players like spy, then it basically nothing happens. So you can rather just remove the spies from the games. Then it's also like the player that didn't have the spy also maybe then top decks it and gets punished for that even more. So yeah, I think they already said something about it, or that they rework or remove the spies. I didn't pay attention that much, but yeah, remove the spies and fix the coin flip.
Yeah, I think there was a leak about that they were either thinking about changing the power of it, or they were going to completely remove it. It was something like that. Nothing confirmed though. But any of the things that you've heard so far, about the Rose things, like things that were actually confirmed, maybe the removal of Dagon and some of the other cards they decided to take out. Like, what do you think about those changes? Do you think those are good changes, or it's going to hurt the game too much?
It depends. Like, I really don't know what will happen. Like afterwards. With only 2 rows, it's a completely different story, right? All the moving cards like Harpooner, Drowner, or like Goldweather with only 2 rows. Maybe Goldweather will be deleted as well. I don't know. And then like White Frost, basically 8% of cards change, right? So it will be basically Gwent 2.0, whole new game, right? So
Sure.
I really don't know. Like if it's good with 2 rows, then go ahead. But I would also like if they keep 3 rows, so like also take it. I don't know.
So without,
maybe it's
it
maybe simplifies it a bit. So don't know.
Yeah, that's an argument I hear a lot about the Rose, that it simplifies the game a little too much. Is that something that you feel as well, like that maybe they're going in a direction that maybe simplifies the game to the point where it's not what it the whole reason why a lot of people came to Gwent was because it was more challenging and complicating and intricate
and less RNG compared to home.
Right, yeah. So are you afraid that Homecoming might be taking it in that direction?
I'm afraid that maybe the board space with like 9, no, it's 9 units, right? And then you, at maximum, can have like 18 dudes, right? So if you, like token decks will also get like deleted also, I don't know. Because nowadays, even with 3 rows, you can have 27 units. Like I had some games with like soldier decks where you play the 3-3. The soldier, how is it called?
Which one?
I don't know the name.
Which one?
The soldier deck, the
slave infantry, right?
Yeah, slave infantry. You play slave infantry, and then I had some games where like the board was full of units, and I couldn't play a card, and because of that I lost. So it's even now sometimes a problem in rare cases. So don't really know. Like if it is okay, if it doesn't happen that players lose games because there's no space on the board, then it's fine. But I'm a bit scared that maybe there's not enough space for your units to play them out.
Yeah, it's again, I think a lot of those mechanics we're not going to know because we don't really know how the cards are changing, right? So we don't really know like how this is going to affect everything. But it's interesting to hear. It's interesting to hear from especially a pro player's perspective of how the game is going to take a hit. It is going to change. Obviously how the pro scene operates too. So you're going into Challenger without revealing anything. Can you at least tell us a little bit about what kind of deck you're favoring right now? Like, what kind of decks are you playing on the ladder? Without telling us what you're doing in Challenger, obviously.
No. I'm just playing on the ladder. I'm playing the best decks, of course.
That's the best answer you could have given.
I don't know. I can't say anything. Sorry.
No worries. I didn't expect an answer there at all.
But I really appreciate that they take the community with like Flake and Ash little into the host. So to the host. So I think it will be awesome. And they also the hosts know how the game works, because like previously it was like some famous guys, right?
Yeah.
I mean maybe they had some experience with hosting, but they just didn't know anything about the game. So I think both options are fine. I mean, it will be great.
That's a very PC answer. That was really good.
Also Shinmiri. Sometimes I watch the stream of Shinmiri, and I think he's a very analytic guy, and he fits perfectly into the analyst role with Swim, right?
Sure. Yeah. They're going to be an interesting duo together
really
for sure.
Looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So your future in Gwent, you're sticking to it, right? You're sticking through Homecoming, being the best you possibly can be. Gonna win Masters, right?
Yeah, of course. Like it's now like the last 12 days of Pro Ladder, right? And then it's like a month break, so gotta enjoy those last 12 days of the stale meta, Kappa.
Sure. Yeah. So I'm gonna ask. I asked Ash kind of the similar thing about what if they told you that this entire faction is going to be gone. So your favorite faction, they're going to say this one's no longer going to exist. GameKing, what are you going to do? What is your go-to faction at that point?
But what is my favorite faction?
I have no idea. That's why I asked it that way.
My favorite, I don't really have a favorite faction. Maybe my favorite faction is Nilfgaard or Skellige. Nilfgaard or Skellige I think that's everyone's favorite faction. Then I would switch
strongest faction, so
strongest factions. Yeah.
People like winning.
Yeah, your favorite faction is pretty much the strongest faction, so that makes sense.
Then I think maybe Squirtle then.
Squirtle.
I wish I would be proud.
Yeah, but monsters is really not. I don't like monsters.
Not an A guy.
You did mention before about the coin flip thing. I'm just curious, like your thoughts on what you think they could do to kind of like rectify this issue.
With the Gwent we have now, I would just like test the betting system. Someone suggested, like, I don't know, half a year ago, with like both players bet a certain number, like Dutchboy 7 points, GameKing 6 points. Okay.
Easy.
Dutchboy, sorry, has the red coin, but I have 7 points, right? Because you bet more points, and in exchange I get 7 points. Both players are happy because like I get 7 points for free, and Dutchboy like really likes his red coin. And he got like red coin and doesn't care about the 7 points because like he valued the red coin 7 points. And if it would be a tie, then it would be randomized, but the player that gets blue gets the points still, right? I would try that system, and then maybe it works out or not. So maybe they have tried it, but I'm not sure. Like they should also ask like the good players, the pro players, Teobot, Arzikov, Hanachan, what they think about the coin flip and how they would fix it.
Sure.
In my opinion, but they haven't asked me yet, and I think they also they haven't asked Teobot also.
Yeah.
Not yet. Maybe we can change their minds at the challenger or give them some feedback.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, no, I've definitely heard that a similar scenario that you just mentioned there for how to correct the coin flip. Yeah, that seems to be the hot button issue. Coin flip always seems to be the biggest hot button thing, and that's the one thing that we didn't quite hear about yet when talking about Homecoming is what are they going to do with coin flip? So, what do you think?
Like I know it's so unbalanced at the moment. From like if you play Neckers, I have some statistics where like you have like 75% win rate if you win the coin, and 50 or so if you don't win it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember. I saw the stats for my own pro level grind.
Yeah.
So triggering.
Some tracking softwares.
All right, well, we're going to get into a couple prediction scenarios about Challenger in a little bit here, but we want to bring Ash back in for that since she will be there alongside you, cheering you on, maybe? I don't know. We're going to go bring Ash back in. I don't have a commercial to cut to, do I, Dutchboy? So we're just going to go bring her back in right now. I thought we had a commercial prepared. All right, damn. So we have Ash back here. We're gonna get into a couple group questions now, and then take a couple questions from the chat. If there are any guys, if you want to ask Ash or GameKing any questions, just at Team Aretuza in the chat, and we will pull some questions and ask away later. But first, I just want to ask you guys. You're maybe not really predictions, but maybe the some matchup that you're looking forward to in Challenger. GameKing, maybe who do you want to play? Who don't you want to play? And Ash, who do you want to see play each other? we'll start with GameKing.
I don't want to play against Colomon and Tailbot because, in my opinion, the strongest two players.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah, and I want to play against everyone else left.
Ooh.
I have to play against someone. Like I want to play against no one and just win without beating them.
Just a that sounds good.
Yeah.
So Ash, who are you looking forward to seeing?
I'm okay. I would hope the final between GameKing and Damo. Obviously, that would be awesome for me. I hope you guys face each other. I wouldn't know who to root for though, but that would be a great match. It's just I'm excited for literally every match. Like, but I am rooting for Damo and GameKing. Obviously, you guys, are some fans of the clan, or not fans, but part of the clan. So I'm rooting for you guys. I'm actually like, it's just there's so many like. As soon as we see the bracket, I think it will be a bit better to see like, oh, this is a game I'm really excited for. But yeah, I'm obviously gonna root for you guys. So
you don't have to root. You don't have to root for GameKing just because he's here. It's okay. You could tell me.
No, honestly, no. GameKing actually congratulated me, man. Like obviously, GameKing and I, we're
such a nice guy.
Such a nice guy, exactly. He's been in my chat too. He's beat my ass on Pro Layer numerous times, So, just why not? Why not? Of course, I'm rooting for him.
So, what deck or archetype do you think that you guys will see the most going into this challenger? Like, I know we see what we see a lot on the ladder, you know, with the hand buff and the shoop and all that. But what do you think people are going to want to bring here to challenger? And again, GameKing, don't tell us what you're bringing, for God's sakes. Just tell us what you think you're going to see.
Yeah, and naturally, it's the most dominant archetypes are like great swords and alchemy, right? But then there's like soldiers, tempo calvate, veterans, boats. Yeah, and then there are possibly like 20 different decks. You can go Skytel, Shoop, Eitne, Skytel, Shoop, Brewer, Dwarfs, yeah, what else? Spellartel, Monsters Imlarit, Monsters Neckers, Monsters Dagon.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Imlarit, I think Damocles already knows.
Yeah, I want that. I want it to work.
We keep seeing that banned a lot. We've seen that banned a lot, actually. And yesterday, too, when we were doing the Russian Gwent Open, that like nobody would let Neckers get played. It was just nobody would let that deck make an appearance at all.
And then there's Foltest. Radovid is, I think, one of the least played leaders.
Yeah.
Not considering the meme league. And then, yeah, Foltest is also good. Henselt also strong. Yeah, like you can play 4 out of these 20 decks.
Yeah, there are quite a bit of options. That's cool.
Yeah, that's a very broad answer. Ashley, do you have like a more narrowed in approach to what do you think you're going to see a lot of here?
I mean, it's all like it all really depends like what people's strategy is, right? Like sometimes you go like to target. We've seen targeting specific archetypes like really work out for people.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see a lot of swarm. That's what I'm thinking we might see, because if people are bringing certain lists, like if people are being in control, expecting great swords, all that stuff, obviously like swarm could shine against that. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, but I'm not a pro here, so I can't really predict it that well. But I think that it will lean a bit towards that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we have a chat or we have a question from that came from a Discord, which was what has been to this point your favorite Gwent moment? And it doesn't have to be necessarily about Masters, but what has been your favorite Gwent moment up to this point?
Where does the question go? Ash or me?
Yeah, you can start. Go ahead. It's for both of you.
Yeah, my favorite Gwent moment was for myself, of course, winning the Gwent Slam too, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was awesome, and I look forward to winning the challenger to top that. Yeah. And then World Masters.
And onward to World
Nice.
Masters, exactly.
Don't forget that.
Otherwise, it would be kind of meh. Just winning.
Just winning challenger. I mean, who wants that, right?
Right.
For me, I would say, I unfortunately I cannot say when I won Gwent. I cannot say that. I would probably say either when I got asked to host a challenger, or when I got Grandmaster for the first time, because that was a real big achievement for me back then. So
when did you get it for the first time? When was that?
I don't even know, to be honest. It could have been that it was the season of where Letho Avatar was introduced. Was it? I think it could have been that one, and I was playing
that was a while ago.
Marauder Bren with Olgierd Morkvarg. And all that strength, like with the talismans, and I had like a 90% win rate all the way to like GM, because that deck, no one knew it. Yeah. And it was like invented that day. So I was like, all right, gotta get on this right now. And it worked out.
Well, that's actually an interesting, that's always an interesting day when they introduce new cards and everyone just scrambles to find what is their, what are we gonna make out of this?
Yeah, so much fun.
So so out of that, I mean, what is for both of you? What would you say is what was your greatest creation that you have made out of just scrambling to come up with something? What was like the greatest combination that you did? That was like, I can't believe that happened.
Decks or plays? The greatest deck.
Deck play. What was your best play? That's a tough one. We'll start with Ash. What's a deck that you made that was just like, this is gonna be fire? Like when you saw the card introduced.
I mean, I'm not really like that big of a deck builder. Like I was more because I mean, right now if there will be new cards, the homecoming, I'll definitely be creating some stuff. But I can tell you, like one of my best plays probably that was actually on the play of the month. That was when I pulled off a double hound snout with Jenga. So like both the guys for the Bears and then like all the points it did was just absolutely insane. So that one. Yeah, it was so much points. It was like a 50-point swing or something, and yeah, I got play of the month too. So I was pretty happy with that.
Was that the play of the month, like the Dandelion Show play of the month, or the actual Gwent?
Actual
the
actual
Gwent
Gwent
okay.
play of the month. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Cool.
I think we got someone famous, Mark.
Hey, you know they're both pretty.
Yeah, GameKing is cool too. He's won some stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
He's done some stuff. He's done some things.
He's done some stuff. I mean, who the hell knows GameKing, right, guys? Been in every tournament, right?
He's still thinking. He's still thinking about what was his favorite play. That's a tough one. That's a tough one.
I don't really have a favorite play.
Yeah.
Just from decks.
What was? I can actually change the question. And what was your favorite tournament to be at? Do you like the more relaxed atmosphere from Gwent Slam, or do you like the more energetic, totally changed CDPR atmosphere?
I mean, the best tournament so far was the Challenger 2, of course. It was like in the big castle and everything. Like there were like soldiers and everything. It was like so cool with everything. It's like everything else around, like soldiers with fire and crossbow shooting X-Men and everything. So far, that was the best tournament. And yeah. And to the first question, like my favorite play and my favorite decks. I don't really have a favorite play, but from decks, like I usually try to build the decks myself. And also the decks that I have built myself, I've had the most success with. Like back in the days with Dagon, like it was everyone played Dagon, right? But I was like one of the first with like Becca's Twisted Mirror and so on. And then nowadays, I think last season I created an Eitner deck. Like everyone was playing Brugerschub and then played Eitnerschub to I think like 1,500 or so. And then like suddenly everyone was playing Eitnerschub. Yeah. But it's okay, like that happens all the time, right? And like I got the best score with Skirtel back then. But I think in the last day, Hana-chan overtook me. But yeah, that's how it works to get good scores.
Yeah, well, Flake in the chat is hanging out in the chat. He just want to let you know that he will be available the Friday, on that Friday to coach you if you need it. So he is there. Just so you know, He's available. He does deem himself
some play testing.
He calls himself the greatest Gwent player that exists. So who's to argue? We had a couple questions from the chat. One going to GameKing. They wanted to know what you think about the current status of Gwent, and what would you nerf, and what are the strongest decks right now? So it's kind of like three questions in one. So basically, what are your thoughts on the current state of Gwent in the meta? What is something you maybe would nerf, and what do you think is the strongest deck or card?
So it's four questions.
It's kind of four questions, yeah.
At the moment, it's obviously a bit stale because like no changes. I don't know, 3 months or so. But it's still okay. I would nerf Corsairs to 1 points. I would remove the nerf, and I would remove the spies.
Then removing a card is a big nerf.
Yeah. Then I would nerf Skjall. It's too good. It's a rain fan silver which you can resurrect or restore. And then I would. What was the second question?
It was a lot. It was a lot in one. It was asking what was the strongest. What do you think is the strongest card or decks right now in the meta?
The strongest deck. Yeah, I don't know. Greatsword Alchemy, like the strongest, both strongest decks, and nerf the Corsairs. Yeah, as I said, I don't know anything. Other than that, it's fine.
You're not wrong, that's for sure.
Yeah. Ash, we'll ask you the same thing because I'm just curious your thoughts. You know, what do you think is the strongest deck right now, and what would you want to see nerfed?
Well, obviously, like I agree with GameKing. Obviously, like great swords, OP. Alchemy also really strong. Also, I was talking about that yesterday too, about how the Corsairs definitely need to be like either 1 or 2 points, preferably 1, because they're just really strong right now. Obviously, there's a lot of discussion about it, but I am on the side that wants to see a Seer get a nerf in some way. And then I think it's fair if you nerf a Seer, you also have to rework Heim in a bit, because obviously like Heim can be really overpowered, broken. I think Aglaeus is a bit too strong for what her ability does. Like 8 points plus whatever silver spell you want is really is quite a lot. Yeah, that's about it from me, I'd say.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And what did you what do you think of the current state like of the meta right now? A lot of people say it's very diverse, but what do you think? What do you think about it?
I mean, people are still coming up with some weird stuff, right? So
it's bizarre.
There's some weird stuff going around right now, especially from Swim that's making this insane deck and trying to get like pretty high with it. The Octopus, whatever, Skellige, whatever it is. I don't. I think it's like it's very. I mean, still kind of, but I mean, we've seen. If I queue into like a certain leader, I know what the exact like cards are that he can have. So yeah, it obviously feels very the same. Like I'm ready for a change.
Yeah,
feel like that.
Actually, this makes me have a question for you guys. What do you think on RNG or other variants in the game right now? Because when I was playing a lot of Gwent during my months for Pro Ladder, I had the feeling that after 10 or 20 games having the same matchups played for 5 times at least, I would kind of get the game. The first like 8 plays or something were always the same. Do you think that adding RNG to the game is a good thing in that way, or do you think that that would more
No.
ruin the competitive integrity?
In my opinion, it's already enough RNG. I would rather remove RNG. Some create cards are still like, if you get the create off, then you win the game. Let's say Isengrim, your opponent is X-Men Ragnarok, and you need to create the weather clear either, right? And if you get it, or like Shoop is also too much RNG, in my opinion at least.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think it also in many other opinions. And yeah, I think not or like stay at the same level of RNG, or rather remove some RNG, in my opinion. Like also, I forgot something. Ash said Asaya should get reworked and nerfed. Yeah, I think also that makes sense, because Asaya nowadays, the problem is like shuffling Cantarella into your opponent's deck, and then
I was gonna say the same. Removing
and then like,
is kind of
you draw one card less, or you play DJ and and get the Cantarella for minus 13 points. Yeah, that's
easy.
Maybe like maybe banish the spice. Yeah, doomed spice maybe. Like now, I would remove the spice, but if they keep the spice, I would make them at least doomed again, so they can't get consumed by ghouls or shuffled back by Asaya.
And what do you think, Ashlizzlle? Especially as a streamer, because having RNG is fun, right?
I mean, for certain people, like I like to like I'm not really one of the memers, I would say. Like I like to get some wins, so I could like try my best. I mean, I agree with GameKing, obviously. Like, I think either keep the RNG like this or make it less. Like less would be better, right? Because that's in the first place what drew all of us, or most of us, to Gwent. The fact that it has like little to no RNG, and they changed that. So I would like to see less. I think Shoop like is also like very random. There's certain cards like GameKing said, and just if you high roll the lucky stuff, you can win. Like even if it's the same with Heim, even if it's the same with Heim, if you want to get like a lesser, like the what is it called? The lesser, what's his name? The Guardian. That's the Guardian. You
Lesser
try to fight the Guardian, but and you need the Guardian right there, and you get him right. You just break the opponent's Vilca forts. I think there's still a bit too much RNG, but it's not too bad or anything. Like you can just like have it out there if you don't want to, and if you want to play full on RNG, you could do that. But yeah.
So you guys like keeping consistency in Gwent like it has been before? Because like I've also come to Gwent for the consistency and being able to get those crazy high win rates. Like 70% in a card game is crazy. If you look at Hearthstone, 55% was already really good. But I played it a lot, and then came to this problem that I didn't really enjoy playing the same greatsword deck over and over again, playing the ship, playing the greatsword, having the same game plan every single time, having basically playing solitaire at some point, and that is why I kind of like I'm on the fence right now for adding some RNG or not adding RNG, and I don't know. I feel like there should be some kind of solution for that. Do you guys have any ideas on that? Like having some bit of variance or at least some more options to make gameplay feel different than it has now?
I think the fact that Gwent is a card game is already enough RNG, but
That's also true.
yeah,
I mean,
think
it's a card game,
maybe
yeah.
they can then add
Draws are
some
still there.
RNG that's not that impactful. Like we saw it in the last Open, right? Like Moligian played Jan Calvate, and then he got
Yeah,
like
that was-
ointment, onion, lost the game. That's already RNG with no RNG card, right? It's just
Yeah.
the
Sure,
card game
it's a
RNG.
random pull, yeah.
So that's also like RNG. I mean, you can't like go down. That's like the baseline RNG you always have. But yeah, maybe some cards with like what RNG is good. Yeah, maybe some like reconnaissance. Sometimes it's okay RNG. Like I lost some 1% reconnaissance today, but it's like okay on average. But I have to disagree. I don't like to see more
Yeah,
RNG.
I can add that.
Yeah, I think
Ash?
create
Oh,
RNG
go
is a little. I was just gonna say I think
Yeah,
create. I
create is
think
awful. I
create
agree. I
RNG is
hate
what is what I mean. Like, there's a big difference between create RNG and then just card
Yeah.
draw RNG, because card draw
Yeah,
RNG is just.
I don't necessarily like the term RNG, but everyone immediately knows what you're talking of. I'm more like having variables available to you with stuff like Monster's Nest. Monster's Nest right now isn't it really a variable because you always pick the goal anyway.
Sure.
90%
It's
cases.
kind of RNG, but not really.
Yeah, it's like variables, right?
Yeah.
It makes the game different, or at least it gives you multiple options, even though you only have those same 10 cards. And I think that's good. Being able
Yeah,
to pick
that
that
card
rot fiend
something
every
is nice.
once in a while, or like having at least a little bit different of a feeling when you're playing the game and having a little bit more choices is good in my opinion.
They should
Yeah.
add some cards with more choices. But like for example, do you like Skjal? Like sometimes it's 50-50 get the spy and
Yeah, I hate this.
win the game. Like I don't like RNG like Skjal. Play a random dude from the deck.
Yeah.
That's like RNG I really, really don't like.
Yeah.
Like
Or
even create is better than that, right?
Yeah,
Play a
I mean,
random-
I agree. I would like to see some more cards in like deep with like variables like Monster's Nest, but that are like certain, so it's not like random or like shoop you miss out on something. I would think that'd be very interesting to add to the game. Like also more for casual players, like pull some stuff off, but it's not like too much of like the randomness. I would like to see more cards like that for sure too.
I mean, yeah, Skjal is fine because you only have like 2 cursed units, but cards like Skjal, like Pavko
Yeah.
was also like RNG, but they changed it, right? So you can choose. It's still not good enough card, but I think
So sad.
People are fighting for him though.
yeah,
People are fighting for
a lot
him
of people are
easily,
using
right?
them. Yeah, a lot of people are using them
Yeah.
recently.
like Herbalist you can only play with if you play one off. So you remove the RNG. If you play only A Rush, for example, then you always get A Rush, and then you can play like cards that pull a random stuff out of your deck.
Well, we had Tailbot hanging out in chat. He wanted to know who's going to be coming in second place at Challenger.
Ooh.
Well, somebody we answered him right, saying whoever you lose to. So
Whoever
I have 2 more questions from the chat here for you guys. I have one here asking after the Pro Ladder season restarts around Homecoming. What would we see as a difference? Because they're stopping Pro Ladder for a month. So, do you think it's going to take a major impact on the Pro Ladder scene following Homecoming?
I don't think so. Just everyone will like wait or play some normal ranked games. It's not that long anymore, so I think it doesn't matter. But they should improve the Pro Ladder in the meantime. Maybe like remove the cap of 100 games to 50 games. Like it's nowadays you need to play 400 games to just get started.
Yeah.
And they should like go down to like 50 games or so, then 200 games in 2 months is much more doable for players that don't have that much time. Like it doesn't hit me because I have a lot of time to play Gwent, but for other players. And yeah, I think it's okay if there's like one season, no pro ladder.
Yeah, Ash, what do you think?
This is maybe random. I thought I heard people talk about that there will be like 0 ranked coming like next month, right?
Like you start at rank 0? Is that?
No. They like the normal ladder.
Oh no. There's one
the
more.
Normal ladder's also gone.
There's one more.
No, it's not gone. Right?
There's one more month of regular ladder. After this one, there's another month of. They confirmed that actually today on Twitter that there's another month of
really?
regular ladder. Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I figured that they. Oh, okay. It was like okay.
I got the same thing, Ash.
I think it was pro ladder was stopping, but the regular ladder season was going to have another month, if I remember.
Yeah, because it was like on a Polish article or something, and someone translated that right as to like it being translated like there were going to be like no ranked seasons or like not a ranked season on normal and pro. But thank God there is.
Maybe it was not a miscommunication. Maybe they just decided to. Okay.
Yeah, give him one more.
No,
press the button.
I think Burza actually tweeted this morning. He said there was they have the season of the Warrior next is what they were doing. So they still have one more season. Yeah.
Cool.
And then Homecoming. So Homecoming
is supposed to be in October. So October or November, October, somewhere around there. October, November.
We already have the date for the Gwent Open 7 on October 13, right? Will that Gwent Open be with or without Homecoming? Anyone
See that's nobody knows. That's the thing. That's an interesting question because if you look on the Gwent website, it does have the dates kind of stop right there, and then they have TBA for the rest of them. So I think that they're probably going to do the Open, and then they're going to launch Homecoming, and then they're going to take the pro ladder break that they mentioned, and then come back with everything, which is really weird.
Release Homecoming one day before.
Could you imagine?
I would like to see that. That would be amazing.
That would be chaos.
Let's say like 2 weeks or 1 week, then would be really interesting to see the decks that are being played.
That would be absolute.
I would love to see that.
Madness. That would be just madness.
I always do that. But it's very chaotic from the player's point of view. You get so frustrated if you bring new stuff, and then you realize one day later that it's absolute garbage.
There was.
You have to play it.
Yeah, the entertainment value though.
Yeah,
that almost happened with the winter update, right? Because they did the winter update right before an Open or something, and they said that there was an update to the winter update, and then they had to roll back the update for the Open or something. You remember that? It was like right before an Open that they did.
Yeah. The old patch.
Yeah. So they did happen before, but this is like a major change. I don't think that would.
Yeah.
That would be really weird. It's already weird enough that it's going to happen right in the middle of a pro.
I mean, we also had like the midwinter update in the middle of the season, so
yeah,
that's like that midwinter update. Then like 2 weeks left, and
yeah, right. That was already. Yeah, I don't think they would do that. It'd be kind of wild. We have one more question from the chat here, asking about. Specifically to GameKing, how he enjoyed the Red Dragon tournament, and do you hope for more events like that in the future? Are you looking to participate in more events such as Red Dragon or Wild Hunt? And there's the Russian Gwent guys are doing one LAN tournament. Are you looking to do more of those? Did you enjoy yourself?
I mean, it was very cool to be at the Red Dragon tournament. It was a bit sad that I fell a bit short with my tiebreakers. I had like 4 losses, and because of that, I was a bit disappointed. But other than that, it was like I was having a really good time with all the Gwent community boys.
Yeah.
Tua Fanel and Arzikov, everyone was there. And yeah, like if there's some cool Gwent tournament happening and I have time, and yeah, then I will see if I can go there and play there.
Does it help you as a player? I mean, I know because in other games they have more community tournaments that people go to, and it like leads them up into playing a big event like an Open or a Challenger. Do you think having more LAN tournaments like that would help you maybe even prepare for those kind of events?
Yes, I mean, it also like takes some time to
convinced.
Some time, but yeah, I mean, it's fine. Does it help? I mean, you can test some strategies in the a bit less important tournaments, and then you can see if they work out, and if they work, play them at the Challenger or the Open. Yeah, that's what you can use the tournaments also for.
Sure.
I mean, I think they should make some they should try to get like went to some DreamHacks maybe, like in Hearthstone there was like Hearthstone DreamHack Winter in Sweden or so, and they were like always like 200 people or so, and maybe like Gwent they could do the same, but I don't know. Like
maybe after
if they
Homecoming.
want that or not.
They have actually tried to, or at least I heard that they tried to get Gwent into DreamHack, because I also really wanted that to happen, but they were struggling because CDPR doesn't want people to pay to participate in tournaments, and DreamHack really wants your money. So they were kind of struggling right there.
It's
Yeah.
not that expensive. Yeah,
I actually am curious myself because I know that GameKing is very competitive. I know that I'm very competitive, but I actually was wondering if Ash ever considered just going pro. Just stopping streaming for a while, grinding that
If
pro
I-
ladder for months. Because that's
If I
super
had the
grind.
skill, if I had the skill, I would do it. But I don't think I'm good enough of a player to ever achieve like those ranks. So I won't even try because I think I'll be very disappointed. I mean, you know, I I know my own skill set, right? Like I don't have that much experience in card games. Like I've been in it for really in it for a year, you know. I don't think I'll get there, but I'll just keep chilling with some Grandmaster stats and some pro ladder fun. Yeah,
I understand where she's coming from there because as also streaming Gwent, it's tough to make that kind of decision because you either go full in on streaming the game or you kind of focus 100% on going pro in it, and it's really hard to walk that line in between because a lot of the pro players that stream they either started playing as pro and then they went to streaming, or there were streamers that went to the pro ladder and did really well there. So it's like you have to kind of focus on one or the other. It's really, really hard to go right down the middle. And
I have another idea. Like already some people had the idea they should like make an option to hide the name in like pro ladder. So you can play pro ladder and not get sniped, or you're not forced to use a delay, right?
Right.
Otherwise you have to use a delay and then you can't communicate with the chat, right? So also like you can not get easily dead sniped like some
right,
some like because they don't know like they should just make an option to hide the name, and it would be way easier to stream and be pro, right? Or go pro.
Sure.
Maybe then it would also start streaming.
This is at least what I really
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say yes
okay,
and no.
We're both saying it.
I was gonna say yes or no on that because it there's still the balance between being interactive with your chat and making top level plays and paying attention. And sometimes there is still a disconnect. I know Ash can definitely agree that we make mistakes probably all the time because we're trying to talk to chat and then we go, why did I play that card? Well, I would never do that in my entire life. Why would I do that? And it just that happens too often.
For sure. Yeah, hiding name would be good for streamers for sure. I would like in general to see Gwent or do a bit more with Twitch and like streaming. I would like to see, but obviously because I am a streamer. But yeah, I would like Gwent to grow on Twitch too, because I think there's a lot of potential. I think Homecoming will for sure help, but I think it would also be hiding names, because some people just like are over the sniping stuff. Like hiding names, it would make it feel more welcoming for other people to try streaming out that are actually like pretty good players.
Sure.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say before Dutchboy? I interrupted you.
Yeah, I had the same struggle. I remember when I started streaming and actually tried out for a bit that like the first day I was so exhausted after streaming for 3 hours and I misplayed so horribly that I just barely could sleep. It felt so awful.
Yeah.
Nightmares.
Oh man, I really couldn't anymore. I was actually struggling to like get some easy games in on Pro Ladder, and after a while just quit Pro Ladder and went to Ranked and just started grinding there. Which was kind of hilarious, because you can actually play Huge Bird in Rank Ladder, and in Pro Ladder you just can't.
Yeah. There's definitely different things you can do there that you can't in regular ladder. I got one more question for you. I know I said that was the last one, but I saw a really good one here before we go. Somebody was asking, after Homecoming, everyone will basically be on the same level again, trying to learn the new Gwent. How do you guys feel about having to relearn Gwent basically after all this time invested into it. You're gonna have to relearn the game with all these new mechanics.
I mean, for me, in my case, it will probably not take that long, because like when I got into Gwent 2 weeks after I entered Gwent, it was already like rank 1. But
Well.
I mean, it's
there is a bigger player base, so
yeah,
it will get harder.
I mean, it's also like a bit funny that you play a game and then you qualify for World Masters, a different game. Basically, you play like League of Legends, then you qualify for the PUBG World Masters. It's not like that.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It will be interesting, and it's also like cool to see like the players that are good in learning the games will get an advantage out of that, and then maybe go to the Open 8 or Open 7. Who knows what will be first Open with Homecoming. And yeah, also like the players that can build decks, good decks, maybe also get an advantage because they are fun with building the decks and good decks. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to figuring out what the best stuff will be after Homecoming.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think, Ash?
Well, like the thing is, Gwent was still like the core concept will hopefully still be the same. Like obviously, what makes pro players different from like casual players is like they know exactly like when to pass, like how certain. I think obviously passing will still be a huge part of Gwent, right? And like when you spend your resources, I think that will be the same. So I don't think everyone starts from like zero, because I think pro players obviously still have like that advantage over like casual players, because they understand the game and like the concept just way better than your average player, obviously. So
Sure.
But yeah, I think it will be fun though. It will be fun to like learn all the new cards, to like find new archetypes, maybe like find those broken. Because we'll always find broken broken stuff, right? The game.
Of course.
People will always go for what's broken and then play the living hell out of it, right?
Oh, yep.
So
That's
yeah.
everybody's way.
People.
Yep. So yeah, I think for sure that will sure be like an advantage for pros, because they just like understand Gwent. I don't think they won't introduce like mana or something like that, right? So
No.
that passing all of that stuff that will still be there. So I think it's not from ground zero, but people should still like for sure there'll be new cards and stuff to learn. It should be great.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on that note, I'm not sure how much I can say, so I'll just say on that note, people should pay attention to Aretuza, because there's some things happening for Homecoming, so just stay tuned to that. So
What's going on here? What's going on? Now we need to know.
I don't know if I can say. I've already said too much, so guys.
Okay, guys.
Thank you so much for both of you for joining us today. Thank you guys in chat for hanging out as well. We saw some celebrities. Tailbot was here. Flake joined us as well. So Ash, why don't you tell us the good people where they can find you if they want to see some more of your face?
Twitch.tv/Ashlizzlle. You write it exactly like it's written, like under me right there. On Twitter, Ashlizzle without. Yeah, it's just check out my Twitch channel and you'll find out all the links you need to. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It was really fun.
Absolutely. GameKing, where can the good people find you? Besides Challenger.
Yeah. On the top of the pro ladder and
Yes.
and on Twitter, GameKing HS. Oh, Hearthstone.
HS?
What is that?
Yeah, and I wanted to change it, but GameKing is already taken. And maybe in the future on Twitch, GameKing HS.
Ooh.
Leaks cover. And then, yeah, thank you for having me as well. And yeah.
Absolutely.
Looking forward to meeting you, Ash, at Challenger, and Flake and Shinmiri and all the other players.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
You guys should be having awesome time. I know we'll have a great time watching it. Dutchboy, as well, throw out your tags. Now's the time. Tell the good people where to see you.
TA_LB Dutchboy at Twitter. And I think I still have a Twitch, but I'm basically not streaming anymore, so it feels bad, man. And otherwise, on the public Aretuza Discord, you can also find me there. I hang out there sometime.
Absolutely. You guys can join the public Discord if you just check out the info right down below. There's a nice big button. Just click on that and you're there. My name is Markthius. Thank you so much to Apero for handing over the keys to Dutchboy and myself. I hope we didn't break the show. It looks like we did okay. So you guys can find me at Markthius on Twitter and also on Twitch as well. I also stream Gwent. Once again, thank you, Ashlizzlle and GameKing, for joining us on this episode. It was a pleasure speaking with you. We will see everyone on the next show. Looking forward to seeing you guys at Challenger.